Welcome back, TCG Squad. It is time for some more spoilers of Twilight of the Republic. We got 11 new spoilers, so let's go ahead and get started. I think some of them are pretty cool, but are there going to be any duds? Let's find out. All right, first up, we have the Resolute. This is a 10 cost space unit. Its aspects are aggression and heroism. It has 8 attack and 8 defense. This card costs 1 less to play for every 5 damage on your base. It also has a when played and on attack trigger. It deals 2 damage to an enemy unit and each other enemy unit with that same name as that unit. This is a legendary. I do want to start off right off the back. It does seem like it's a little pricey to play because it's 10 resources. But when you really think about it, by the time you get to the point where you could potentially play this, when you get to that resource marker, you're probably going to be playing closer to 7, maybe even 6 if you have a 30 health base. That's actually not too bad, in my opinion. I think the when played on attack is very good. It's basically token wipe. You could potentially knock out or wipe out their board with all the tokens. So it works in a mirror match if you're playing clone heroism with clone tokens, or if you're playing against a villain which playing droid tokens. I just want to go ahead and say that just because of the cost, it might be something we might not be able to play too early unless someone figures out a good way to actually end the game with something like this. But since we have the rankings as good, bad, and busted, I'm just going to go ahead and give this the final verdict as a good card. All right, next up, we have an In Defense of Camino. This is a 4 cost event. Its aspect is command. And it says, for this phase, each friendly Republic unit gains Restore 2. And when defeated, create a clone trooper token. This is a rare. For 4 costs, I'm kind of indifferent. I do like that every Republic unit gets Restore 2. So it's a good way if you have a large set of tokens, because I believe those are Republic, the Clone Trooper tokens. You will get Restore. So a good way to actually kind of heal back up. Green, there is a little bit of Restore. It tends to be more in blue. But this is not bad to have your whole board for that phase be restored too. And it's also if you have an ECL where you can ECL a Republic unit, it's going to get that Restore 2 and also when defeated. So that's not bad. I think creating Clone Trooper tokens is not bad as well. So if you somehow manage to go wide and then can play this and help supplement your board with Clone Trooper tokens and then get some coordinate abilities, I think that might be cool. Overall, I don't think there's nothing negative about the card. I would say I don't think there's nothing great about the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this as good. Next up, we have Clear the Field. This is a 2 cost event. Its aspects are cunning and heroism. The card says, choose a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less, return it, and each enemy non-leader unit with the same name as its to owner's hand. This is an uncommon. Basically, this is like worse version of Waylay, because Waylay you can just return any non-leader unit back to the owner's hand. This is very specific. It has to be obviously still non-leader, but it's the cost is 3 or less. And the real keyword is that any non-leader unit with the same name also. So this is essentially a way to potentially wipe out tokens. We can tell right off the art, it looks like it's targeting the droids. I think this is a good event. I see no problem. For 2 costs, you can wipe out anywhere from 1 to many tokens. I think it's a good card. I think we definitely will see play. Overall, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a ranking of as good. Next up, we have Daughter of Dathomir. This is a 4 cost ground unit. Its aspects are vigilance. It has 3 attack and 5 defense. Text on the card reads, while this unit is undamaged, it gains Restore 2. So 3-5 for 4 costs is a little bit underpowered in terms of attack, but it will make up for it with the Restore 2. Then I think that's pretty fair because you get to heal your base anytime you attack. The key is that you have to somehow attack, trigger off the Restore, and then you're going to have to heal it back up so that when you play it next round, you can restore. So that conditional restore, I'm not a big fan of it, and it's slightly underpowered in attack. I don't think this card is that good. We haven't seen many healing decks that can heal your units on the field as opposed to healing your base. I know there's cards that do that, but you really don't see that in the meta. So I do like the idea of the Night Sisters. Hopefully we get Mother Talzin soon and we get a deck you can build off of that kind of tribal deck. But right now I'm gonna have to go ahead and based on my rankings, I'm gonna have to put this as bad. Next up, we have a 2-cost event. This is Grievous Reassembly. This aspects are Vigilance, and it says heal 3 damage from a unit, create a battle droid token. I just finished saying there's not many healing in the game that we use. This is a 2-cost event, so this could technically heal that Night Sister card and heal 3 damage, and then it turns on restore for the next time, and at the same time you create a battle droid token. I think that's okay. Let's say you're running a droid deck with Grievous and you want to, and your Sentinels are taking some damage, you want to heal. This gives you the ability to heal your Sentinel token and create a battle token for just 2 resources. I don't think that's bad. I think that's decent. I think that's a good cost. You're paying 2 to heal 3 and then you create a 1/1 power. I think that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and rank this as good. Next up, we have the Heavy Pursuiter Tank. This is a 7-cost ground unit. Its aspects are aggression. It has 6 attack and 5 defense. It has exploit 2, which is the new keyword in the game. And it says, when played, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. For 7-cost resources for 6 attack and 5 defense. 5 defense is a little bit low, in my opinion, for 7 resources. I'm okay with the 6 attack because of the when played trigger. You do additional 2 damage to a ground unit, so you're potentially coming in. You're looking at 8 power roughly coming into when you first play it. What makes it really interesting is exploit 2, so that can reduce the cost of this tank by obviously 4, right? And that means this tank could cost as low as 3 resources to play. That is crazy good. I think that's why it makes up to having that lower defense, because you can play this for 3 resources potentially. So I think it's very good, and I actually don't see any issues. I really actually like the art on this card. That's a pretty cool tank with the droids on there. And I do like how, again, if you look at that 2 damage keyword, that takes out the any token in the game, which was the clone troopers as well as droid, but it also kills a lot of the more aggressive early play characters that usually have about 3 attack, 2 defense. This will actually can help potentially knock those guys out as well. I'm gonna go ahead and rank this as good. Next up, we have Huang. This is a 3-cost ground unit. Its aspects is command, has 2 attack and 4 defense. His text on the card reads, when played, choose another friendly unit. While this unit is in play, the chosen unit gets +2 attack, +2 defense. This is a rare card. I actually really like Huang just because he's kind of a slower version of Fleet Lieutenant, but it's a consistent one. So imagine Fleet Lieutenant right now, when you have some 3/2 cost character, you play Fleet Lieutenant, you can immediately attack with it and give it +2 attack. You're hitting something for 5. Same idea with him at 3 costs. If you had a 3/2 in your first round, you drop Huang. You're going to choose that friendly unit. You don't get attack. Your next turn, you get to attack. Or your next action phase, you get to attack. And that might be a negative thing because that might give your opponent the ability to take out that 5 attack unit. But I think you can use this on any kind of unit, really, because it just says another friendly unit. So if you have your Sabine out, you drop him out. Sabine's now gets buffed by 2 defense, which is pretty important because sometimes she can get wiped out right when you deploy her. So this actually can make up for that. If you're running like a clone trooper Rex deck, I think you might want to add him in the deck because it can help put those +2 counters on your leader or your any kind of like trooper or Republic type characters. I think he's solid. I have no real issue with him. Especially towards the late game, I think he'll be very good because if you have those higher costed units, like your Mauls and Vaders, and you play him before they attack, they just got even stronger. So this is a very good card. Again, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna probably. I want to call. I almost want to rank this card as busted. I just don't think, since it kind of slows you down by one action, I can't put it there. But I'm gonna go ahead and rank that as good. Next up, we have the Padawan Starfighter. This is a 2-cost space unit. It has 1 attack and 3 defense. It says, while you control a force unit or a force upgrade, this unit gains +1 attack and +1 defense. For 2 costs, for a 1/3, slightly underpowered, but it is made up for the text on the card. Now that we're getting a lot more of the Jedis and force units out in the game, and even lightsaber upgrades, I think you can probably pull this off if you create like a Jedi force units centered deck. You'd probably be getting this 1/1 off pretty consistently. Now, obviously, you're not going to get it if this is your first drop of the game. You're not going to, you won't get it done, right? But I think maybe if you play another on your next turn 3, you can play a 3-drop that has a force. Then you're going to be able to gain the effect, and then you can swing into your opponent for 2 damage, and it has 4 defense. That's not too bad. I like this card. I don't think there's nothing too negative I can say. So we'll go ahead and just give this a ranking of good. Next up, we have the Patrolling AAT. This is a 5-cost ground unit. Its aspects are villainy. It has 4 attack and 5 defense, and it has Sentinel. This one's pretty straightforward. It's a 4/5 Sentinel. For 5 costs, I don't like it that it's light. It has 1 less attack, but again, it's a Sentinel, so you have to kind of go through him to go. 5 health is not bad, so I can't complain too much. I just wish if it was a 4/6 as a Sentinel, I think would have been a little bit better. But it's not a bad card, so we'll just go ahead and give this a ranking of good. Next up, we have Reprocess. This is a 3-cost event. Its aspects are command and villainy. And the event says, choose up to 4 units in your discard pile, put them at the bottom of your deck in a random order, and create that many battle droid tokens. This is an uncommon card, so I actually think it's not bad. This is a good way to help get you, especially if you're going, we're starting to see there's a potential mill archetype. This is a good way to actually get some of those units back into your deck and help prevent that mill loss condition faster. It's not that you lose if you get all milled out, you take more damage. I don't know if we'll see this card much in play in terms of a main deck. I think this is going to be for sure side deck card, and you might run a playset of 3 of these. If mill becomes something as part of the meta, I think you're going to want to have this card, just like how we've always had disabling Fang Fighters in almost all sideboards to get rid of upgrades. I think Reprocess might be like that. It allows you to get some more cards back into your deck, and you create that many battle droid tokens, which is 4. So we're going to go ahead and give this ranking as good. The last card we got to talk about today is Strategic Acumen. This is a 1-cost upgrade. Its aspects are command. It has 0 attack and 2 defense. And the upgrade says, attach unit gains action exhaust. Play a unit from your hand. It costs 1 less. So this is an interesting card. Right now, you'll get to play an upgrade. It basically boosts up the defense of the card. If you get to use it 1 time, it pays for itself. If you can use it multiple times, then you are getting additional value from there. So from that perspective, I think it is okay. My only issue with this is that we don't see very many upgrades in the game. I mean, the only real upgrade you really see in the game is Boba's armor, and that's a whole different discussion, right? Every once in a while, obviously with Sabine, you see Darksaber, but other than that, we don't play too many upgrades. Even with the new set, even with bounties against boss, you do see some of those upgrades, but those are not the same as this. So I'm really undecided on this card based on the current meta of how we've seen the last two sets of how you really don't use upgrades, I want to call this a bad card, but the fact that you can get its value after you use it one time, I want to say that's really good. Even if it's just one cost less, that's a big difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and consider this and rank this as good. All right, guys, those were all the spoilers for today. I think some of the spoilers were actually pretty good, and some of them were not so good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tell me what was your favorite spoiler that we talked about today. Now, I also want you to know, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to provide you all the latest Star Wars Unlimited spoilers, and we'll also will be doing budget decks. We've already released a ton for set 2. We're going to continue releasing a couple more. Then we're going to go ahead and hit it hard with set 3. But anyways, thank you for your time. Hope you have a good day. Peace.